Black woman. Black woman, this is the mayor of Blacktown. You know, you've been giving me a hard time, black woman. Yeah, you don't like the idea that your treason to black men and all of our movements has been exposed. And now the latest example of your treason and betrayal, like Delilah betrayed Samson of the Bible because she was a feminist too. The latest example of black feminist betrayal has been the revelation that the man or the beast or the monster who killed your own son, Trayvon Martin, killed him, assassinated him, murdered him, first degree. He was found not guilty by 6 women, 6 white women. Yeah, and not only that, a few days after that not guilty verdict and the shocking headlines erupted in the news, it was also reported in the news that George Zimmerman was supposedly, allegedly driving down the street or the highway, and he rescued some people who were in a overturned SUV truck. Yeah. So that was the breaking news. That was the breaking news that serves to prove that George Zimmerman has launched a campaign to, quote, improve his image and his reputation. Yeah, this is major, people. This is major. Yet the irony is that while white women are exalting George Zimmerman and putting him back on a pedestal, the black woman is continuing to remain the mammy and male bash black men instead of helping me put the black man back up on the pedestal. In other words, black woman, what movements have you started with your freedom, with your women's liberation? Yeah, 40 years of women's liberation we've been dealing with. What have you done, black woman? What have you built? What men have you molded out of these black boys who are walking around with sagging pants that you're not even alarmed about? Yeah. And of course, here in Chicago, there was a black woman who put out the call for the National Guard to come here. And she is oblivious to what the National Guard does. Yet, she is just the typical mammy who's been trained to call on the white man. See, instead of calling on the white Jesus, now she wants to call on the National Guard. Instead of just reminding black men that they went to the Million Man March and took a oath, a vow, a pledge, and a promise. Why don't you remind black men of that, black woman? But this shows your failure to lead. You'd rather call on the white man. You'd rather solve the white man's problems. And that's the problem that black people have. It's a macabre problem. We're very sick people. Yeah, just surreal. Yet I have to report on the evidence as it emerges. Although I haven't made any videos, and I said I stopped making videos. But when some milestone, some pivotal milestone like the Trayvon Martin incident, and of course the subsequent not guilty verdict of George Zimmerman that was rendered and declared July 13, 2013, yeah, I have to report on that. And then, like I said, subsequently he is in the news for supposedly, allegedly, reportedly saving some people in an overturned SUV. And everybody says, oh, that's just, you know, that was set up. But the irony was black people were talking about how George Zimmerman won't be able to show his face. He gonna have to hide, blah, 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 blah. See, the black man, you run your mouth. You run your mouth. Here in Chicago, everybody's talking about the violence and you know, the gangs. Black boys, there have been an effort to keep black boys or black men from ever becoming real gangs. Black men and black boys who claim to be gangs are like little boys who tie a towel around their neck and claim they're Superman. That's how much of a mockery you are, black man, because you don't run anything. You don't run anything. And the way Trayvon has been shot, killed, George Zimmerman found not guilty, and then exalted as a hero, proves, black man, you have lost your manhood 100%. Yeah. And like I said, black woman, you don't have sense enough to unite with me and pledge your allegiance to the men's movement. Yeah. The evidence of the black woman's betrayal to the black man is obvious. And this is something that all races go through. So I don't want to hear that black on black hatred. All races go through this. And see, that's another example of how you put the white man on a pedestal. Nobody on earth fights among themselves more than white people. And quite frankly, that's where black people get a lot of our problems from. We're too busy imitating white people. Black people used to always get along in Africa, among all of the diverse tribes and villages. And Africans speak 5, 6 languages. Yeah, because of the diversity. But the point of this video was just to once again remind black women that you've been caught red-handed in your betrayal of the black man. Yep. George Zimmerman is considered a hero. It won't be long before he'll be showing up in movies. Because like I said, he has launched, he and his people, his lawyers and public relations agents, they've launched a movement to, quote, restore his reputation. Yeah. Meanwhile, black people are still wondering what hit them and wondering how a not guilty verdict was rendered when the evidence was overwhelming that George Zimmerman was in the wrong. Yeah. And that these so-called night watchmen or neighborhood watch laws need to change, because no anonymous person can go up to another person, a total stranger, not dressed in a security guard uniform, and began interrogating them and inquiring and asking them questions. You cannot do that. They are not obligated. And it's obvious that Trayvon Martin was stalked by George Zimmerman, because Trayvon Martin was on his phone talking to his girlfriend. I mean, this should have been an open and shut case. But a sobering reality check. Sobering reality check to the black community of what you're dealing with. And that just having a black president, President Obama, alone, black faces in high places alone, is not going to resolve the racial tensions that have always existed in America. And quite frankly, like I always say, it may not even be racial tension, because white people do hostile things to other white people. It's just that other white people don't tolerate it. Yeah. And George Zimmerman being who he is, if Trayvon Martin had been a white boy, a white kid with his hat on backwards and a skateboard, or even a hoodie and a skateboard, or a typical white kid, and if he had been shot by George Zimmerman under the same circumstances, George Zimmerman would be under the jail and they throw away the key. This was wrong, but it was a wake-up call. God works in mysterious ways. Yeah. So black woman, you should now pledge your allegiance to our men's movement. Yeah. This should have been a wake-up call to you, because they're out to kill your sons. They're out to massacre your sons. And you're not going to be able to be a mammy and talk your son out of something. Back to life. Yeah. You're in a war, black woman. I told you this. You want to defend that feminism stuff. Nope. The evidence is now overwhelming. Overwhelming, black woman. You've been tricked. Yeah. Fooled. Bamboozled. Huh? Like Malcolm X used that word. You've been bamboozled. You know? And you don't realize it until long after the scam and the scheme is over. You've been sold a box of bricks. Yeah. Yep. Poor Trayvon. God works in mysterious ways. All the strong black men, let me hear you say it again. Amen.